USCIS came with a flurry of these memos. There's two specifically I'm diving into, but one of them is about the good moral character in order to get the citizenship. I have the memo in front of me. I have all the updates and changes to the government law regarding good moral character. And since coming out, August 15th, just a few days ago, there's been so many concerns on the ground already. So the newest memo about becoming a citizen is restoring a rigorous, holistic, and comprehensive good moral character evaluation standard for aliens applying for citizenship and naturalization. This newest memo really changes everything for people who are applying to become citizens. And since this memo came out, I've already done several consultations with people who are scared to death about becoming a citizen. Why? One client doesn't have the best credit score, and they're concerned that they won't be able to get a citizenship. Another client had a very small minor offense 15 years ago, but since then has been part of the community. None of these people would have had any problem getting their citizenship in the past 5 to 10 years. But suddenly with this newest memo, it is a cause of concern. So this is the factors that they listed. There's sustained community involvement and contributions to the U.S. What kind of community involvement? What kind of contribution? They don't define it, but sustained community involvement and contribution to the U.S. Family caregiving and responsibility and ties to the U.S. Educational attainment, stable and lawful employment, length of lawful residence, and compliance with tax obligation and financial responsibility in the United States. This is what being a good person looks like, according to USCIS. Obviously, they look at criminal history. When we apply for citizenship for people, we always include, here's no criminal convictions, and then we talk about the jobs, so we talk about their length in the U.S., because those are part of the requirements anyways. But the officers never had to do a thorough philosophical analysis of whether or not a person is indeed a good person. That's one thing. And second, what kind of training are you going to give these USCIS officers? Many of them, maybe it's their first job, and they're supposed to adjudicate whether or not somebody is a good moral person. And again, it's a discretionary test. But there's no official point system, right? It's not like, okay, you have a college degree plus 1 point. You have a criminal record as a misdemeanor minus 1 point. What I'm trying to get at is that by changing this memo, by making something that's relatively straightforward, so much more complex, and you don't give the officers the training, the resources, the time, you are setting the USCIS officers who are doing these citizenship interviews day in, day out, you're setting them up for failure. And I mean, tell you, there's so many USCIS officers that are already getting burned out. They're understaffed, they're overworked, they don't have the training. But now they're supposed to adjudicate on top of everything else they're supposed to do, still do it within the 20 minutes, and supposed to decide if they're good or not good person. So USCIS officers are not supposed to just look at a single incident. It's supposed to be a totality of the circumstance approach. They're supposed to see the person in their whole situation. So just because you don't have a criminal record doesn't mean you are a good person, is essentially what they're saying. Just because you are working doesn't mean you are a good person. And so this becomes an extremely philosophical question. What does it mean to be an American? What does it mean to be a good American? This becomes a very, very tricky situation. But I believe that there are good officers. And my entire gripe with this is not that USCIS should have discretionary measures. I love the fact that the United States government has discretion, has grace, has forgiveness, and allows for second chances. Right? That is, I think, one of the best things about a well-structured law, but it needs to be matched with good training. And so, based on my experience with USCIS, with all the interviews that we've done, I know these officers don't have enough training and they don't have enough time to do these citizenship adjudications. And these are already taking record amount of times, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and then sometimes backlog for a year and a half, 2 years. people have to sue the government for mandamus in order to get their citizenship approved, right? If you search this online, there's thousands of these stories. Citizenship application adjudication is already taking extremely long now, before officers are also required to wear the hat of being a philosopher.